As you guys know, I am a huge Planet of the Apes fanboy, so when it was announced that Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was coming out early here in Australia, you bet I got down there first in line to see it. And this is my review of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It's fantastic! Yeah, it's every bit as good as the first one. It really does a fantastic job of setting up this conflict between humans and apes, and based off the trailer, you might feel like you know how it's going to go down, but you really don't. It does a great job of keeping you on that knife edge between wanting there to be peace between apes and humans and wanting to see them get along, but at the same time knowing that that's probably not going to happen. And the movie does a great job of setting up the scenario where you know apes and humans just can't coexist. So the whole movie is this morally ambiguous scenario in which you're struggling to try to find what the right course of action is and which way to go. And for me personally, I absolutely love that kind of stuff. It kind of reminded me a bit of like Crimson Tide. You remember that movie between like Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman where they're both fighting over whether or not to launch nuclear missiles during this military dispute happening in Russia? And they're both kind of right. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is very similar in that regard. And it really makes you feel for Caesar over the course of the movie. You see in the beginning of the movie, don't worry, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but you see the community that he's built up for apes and what they have, and it's like a paradise, you know, and you really feel the sense that he wants to protect that. But the question is, how far is he willing to go to protect that? How far will he have to go to protect that? And likewise, Malcolm, the human character on the other side, he, like Caesar, doesn't want there to be any kind of war. He wants them to coexist, but he also has his own side to protect. He's got a family of his own. So I absolutely love the movie because of that moral ambiguity, but I can see that maybe some people might not like it because of that. Whereas it does kind of leave you doubting as to what the right course of action was or who you should really be backing. That's always kind of been the point of Planet of the Apes. Right from the beginning, it's always been the goal of that series to challenge us mentally, morally, and to get us thinking. And they did a really good job as well of rounding out the ape culture. You can see like ape architecture, sort of the hierarchy, how everything works within their society. They even have little schools where they're teaching the other apes, and Caesar's philosophy of like knowledge is power, ape does not kill ape. And interestingly, the apes, even though they can all talk, they actually don't talk all of the time. They actually swap back and forth between saying maybe one or two words here and there and then sign language. So it actually made me wonder if maybe that's because the sign language is something that Caesar developed and taught to everyone as a means of communication, and maybe they don't want to speak as much because they see that as like human language, so they do sign language because Caesar made it. It's more an ape language. You know, whether that's the case or maybe they're all just still sort of learning to talk, I don't know. But in either case, that was played really well for certain dramatic moments where like there are some characters that don't speak at all verbally, they just do sign language with subtitles, but then they might have one word in the whole movie that comes out, and it's really effective in that way. So I obviously love the movie and I highly recommend that you go see it. And you know, if you're a movie buff, you know you're going to go see it anyway. But if you're maybe someone who doesn't get to go to the movies all that often, so you're sort of tossing up whether you'll give your money to this or give your money to like Transformers 4, yeah, definitely give your money to this, because you're not really going to take anything away from Transformers 4. You'll just sit there and go, yeah, that was fine. But Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, you might just take something away from that. And in the movie theater I was in, there was a lot of kids as well, young kids, and that's great because I could see like a parent taking their kids to a movie like this and then asking them afterwards, you know, what would you have done if you were Caesar? How would you have done things differently? Do you think it would have changed anything in the end? So I highly recommend it. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Go out and see it once you get the chance. Till next time, see you later.